So if you see them, sweeper, watch the ball,
It's rather keeping an eye on your play, it's who's in your opposite position.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's quite, including me, I will follow the player rather than the position. So if they swap, I'm swapping the player I'm marking.
But also when we
2, 3.
Yes! So just come up, if you're worried about being run around, come up and force them to do things. And then that way they won't be able to get all that space.
up, Sarah, get Brad up, get toes on your toes.
Get up! Take the space! Take the space! You work hard defense. Get onside early, help each other out, okay? You run quickies, you stay tight. Push out, okay? Put a smile on your face, enjoy yourselves, yeah? It's a big game. Let's get it, yeah?
Welcome back, everyone. Joined again by Joe Wright for this one. China against Ireland in the mixed 15s. It's going to be an interesting this one. China struggled yesterday against Wales in this age group. Ireland missed out against a very good France side yesterday at this age group as well, but I do remember very vividly from yesterday that in Philip and John Finnan, Ireland have a couple of superstars in the middle, don't they?
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to this because these are two teams that were sort of like working through their processes yesterday, maybe just brushing the rust off from travel. So yeah, I've got a feeling we're going to see two much improved sides today.
Certainly think so. The hooter goes, and there's a bit of confusion to start with. I think we're just going to start again. And well, I've never seen a start quite like it, but we're off and running, and that's what counts here as China get the ball moving and make good progress actually with their first couple of touches. This is nice. Yeah, that's a market difference. That first two touches making loads of yards. Quickie, they play the ball out. Unfortunately, the ball just goes to ground, but definite improvement already from the China side. And now Ireland have an opportunity to drive up the sub box, get fresh legs on, and see if they can build on what they put down yesterday. Now you say get fresh legs on, and I get it, but it's another one of these little quirks that I find very strange. All Ireland have done is had one defensive step that's lasted 4 touches, and they're making the changes.
Yeah, typically, especially at this level, you will get a pod that is better at defence and a pod that is better in attack. And it's one of those things where sometimes you just got to swallow your pride and accept, yeah, maybe I'm not the right person for it. And it pays dividends there as one Finnan brother goes off, the other one scores.
It certainly does. Ireland with their very first attack of the game coming away with the score. It's John Finnan with it.
Yeah, it's really good and much improved from yesterday. They get the ball down and off the floor very quickly, and then they're running at offside defenders. And you know, if you're running forwards and the defender's running backwards, as I'll probably say all weekend, there's only one winner in the race. And yeah, Ireland opened the score in early doors, and it's much improved from both sides so far.
I have to say, whilst I hope that John Finnan is fit and healthy and uninjured, I am delighted that he has his knee strapped up today, because it makes it so much easier to identify him as separate to his brother Philip.
Yeah, he really does have a lot of tape on that leg and both hamstrings as well, so hopefully he can stay fit for the duration of the game, because he's one of those players that you can't afford to lose.
Just look at the amount of ground that he's managed to make up there. Now his brother on the field, as is Oscar Dunn, who is the more unheralded superstar yesterday perhaps of this Ireland team, but a superstar he is. And Ireland with their second try of the game, this time Philip Finnan.
No, it's going to get pulled back for a forward pass.
Oh, it's a real shame, because Devitt O'Byrne had got herself across the line from the Philip Finnan pass, but called back.
Yeah, I think it's just crept forward, maybe unlucky to receive that call, but really good momentum from Ireland, driving the China defence all the way back scooping through, and what I thought was a brilliant option just gets called back by the refs, but plenty of positives early doors for Ireland.
There certainly are. As China try and make some progress. But unfortunately, can't quite make enough. So Ireland have possession and an easy exit here towards their box. They'll be very happy with that. 2 touches and they're already well into Chinese territory, but that ball, well, did they spill it? Referees say just go again. Slightly scrappy little possession there for Ireland, which is a shame for them because they'd made such good ground to get into their subs and then just all fell apart a bit after that.
Yeah, definitely, and it's one of those things where, you know, maybe you're just trying to get the subs on too fast and running things a little bit too, you know, too direct, and you just forget about the nuances of the roll ball, making sure that you get the ball down nice and strong, hips are square to the try line. But China now, they've drawn the penalty, they've got an opportunity to attack the line, need to eat up the yards early. Good play, they move into the red zone. Now they're going to have strikes at the line. Little bit congested.
It's all very tight, isn't it? 5 Chinese players within a couple of meters of each other. They dive at the line, touch comes in.
Yeah, I just wonder if they'll look to move this open side. You've got 5 China players all in the same area. They do, they spread the attack. Work it back down the short side. Touch comes in. Little bit static.
Breaking through, going for the dive again, but it's just too congested, isn't it? It's too many players in one spot. There's almost means the Irish defence can just squeeze in, and actually they can have a spare person in defence because fewer people can fill the same number of people's places.
Yeah, exactly, and I think China, they're working through their structures quite nicely when they get to the line. Much improved from what we saw yesterday, which was a little bit frenetic at times. But like you say, they're just running it in a very compact area and not stretching the Ireland defence. Oh, lovely.
And Ireland with a big ball out wide and a nice run in for Peter Hogan to take the score out to 3-0. It was John Finnan with the big wide pass and Peter Hogan finishing it off with aplomb.
Yeah, Ireland just waiting for the defence just waiting for the defence to meet them at the line, and yeah, as you say, John Finnan just recognises, hold on, there's lots of space out wide. Why take the touch when I can just whip it out into space and back my teammates to go and make the offensive play? Better. Oh, unlucky. I was just about to say it's better set up from China, moving the ball from one side of the pitch to the other. That did stretch the Ireland defence, but just handling error creeping in. Ball goes to ground, it just undoes all their hard work. Oh, feet.
Finnan dancing this way and that.
Ireland lucky to get away with 7 on there.
I was going to say, because no one seemed to come off as Finnan moved across, and they get a score for it.
Yeah, it's not often I'll say this, but I think Ireland got away with one there with the 7 on, because no one really replaced Finnan as he came on, well, as he was subbing off the pitch. But China don't react to the scoop. Female Link just holds the space on the line, waiting for the ball to be dropped in her grasp, and it is. And Ireland go 3 to the good.
Yeah, Philip Finnan just almost dropping the ball into the arms of Sloane Rangatawa for that Irish try, their 4th try. Or in fact, their 3rd try. Both our scoreboard and the official scoreboard saying 3.
Yeah, good defensive play there from Ireland, just holding the space, not biting on what China trying to do. And at the moment, China just can't quite get their attack going. The structure is much improved from what we saw yesterday, and they do force the turnover. Just want to see them use their structures a little bit move the defence, play the ball in the middle, and then look to use the width. Touch made.
Jiang Chen's son, wearing 7 for China, was the spark for them in that tough game against Wales yesterday, and he might look to be the creator here in this one as they go into the corner. Bit of a clash of bodies, but all accidental.
Yeah, really good take in the corner, actually, under pressure. This is 5th coming, so they'll have one more attempt. They look to scoop. Half is a little bit slow there. They look for the wing.
Finds some space. Touch comes in.
I think the score's been. I think they think the score's been given, but the touch has been made. Offside defender, so they will get a repeat set of 6. And this is a golden opportunity for China. And can't help but think if they begin to move this ball a little bit more, they'll find some success, because at the moment they're just running down the same corridor.
Sun dives again. I think China perhaps needs to just recognise sometimes when that space is congested, there's no point going for the dive in that tight space, but it means there must be a space somewhere else.
Yeah, definitely, and I think if they can begin to recognise that actually, you know, hands down the line is very effective, especially once you've made that initial touch, defence is retreating. You just give that early pass, put someone with speed into pace and see what they can do. At the moment, just running through the same corridor repeatedly, which allows Ireland just to close up defensively and really stop any progress that could be made. Both brothers on the pitch at the same time. Good feet. Great covering touch for the China winger.
John Finnan. Oh, he's going to go all on his own, and he's going to get that one down. And when they get those 2 Finnans on, it's the double threat, and it pays off almost instantaneously for Ireland.
Yeah, they're just so athletic, so powerful. Don't need to take the touch. Just right foot step, dives at the line. So long, could dive from 10 metres out and he'd slide over. Superb score.
And we're halfway through this first half, and Ireland have the 4-0 lead. Official scoreboard still taking its time to catch us up. I think there's been some chat going on the sidelines as Ireland look to try and keep China out. China once again getting into this slightly bunched setup with 5 players all stacked in a 5-10 meter corridor.
Yeah, see, and you know, you flip the coin in that sentiment and say, okay, you are running down the same channel, but they've done that a few times now, and the wing's been on every time. And you just think, you know, coaches in their box should be saying, look, if we're going to persist with this tactic going down this same area, we've got to then start to look wide, because there's a few circumstances where if that ball goes early, the winger, all she has to do is pop the ball down. Very similar to what Ireland are doing to China in reply, just working the ball round the outside. Hands down the line is good enough, and they get the score in the corner.
They do indeed, and it's try number 2 for Peter Hogan, try number 5 for Ireland. And it's very similar to his first, actually. It's just a ball that's been moved out from right to left, and Hogan only too happy to oblige his side with the finish.
Yeah, Ireland have done really well with capitalising on the little defensive mistakes that China are making. They're not taking their foot off the gas, and this is a prime example. You turn your back in defence against someone this fast, and he's just going to run all the way through, untouched.
Oh, Philip Finnan with all the time in the world just to coast home. He had enough time to take his cap off so it didn't blow off in the wind.
Yeah, definitely. And look, the China defence just turns their back, and the gas man goes all the way through.
You don't see that often.
No.
I think the cap's going to go here, so I'm just going to take it off. It's not going to slow me down. I'm going to still be at top speed. And he pops it back on his head once he's finished it off for good measure. 6-0. Ireland lead. And entertaining with it as well, this Irish side. China showing some promise though. They can just get these final few phases of attack right. They will find themselves with some opportunities.
It's just unlucky because they're creating space in the Ireland line. They're just not picking their head up and recognising it, and then we'll take the touch and that will be sixth. But there's been a few circumstances now, and I do hope the coaches come back and look at the game, because they'll see that you are creating space, you're creating opportunities. It's just that final pass that isn't going, then you just let Ireland off the hook.
And Ireland flooding forward here and arriving at pace is O'Neill, and O'Neill is showing dancing footwork. He's evaded everything. O'Neill from subs box to the try line. All in one sweeping, glorious set of movement. That's a way to get yourself introduced into the game.
Yeah, lovely feet. Just recognise the defence is congested. 1 step, 2 step, puts the gas on. He's just too fast for the covering defenders. And if I was there, I don't think you've worked hard enough to sub off. I think you should be defending your own score there.
I was about to say, I respect that. He's run on. 1 touch, 1 score, and off he goes again.
You know what, if you're going to do it every time you get on the pitch, why not?
China. Oh, they'd love a score. Promising build-up play here. Actually, ball doesn't quite stick, but they'd engineered some space there. It was a half a chance, but ball goes loose and Ireland able to escape up to their box, and they've got all the way to the box on just 1 touch. And in fact, they've not even had the second here, as Finnan just toys with the defence, and now Dunn happy to do the same. Wide pass comes in.
Hands. Oh, lovely.
Good hands, and now Philip Finnan only just onto the field, scores immediately and gives Ireland an 8-0 lead.
Yeah, it's a little wing pass back, and Finnan just hits that line at pace. He's able to ghost round the outside of the covering defender. Lovely eyes up play then again for the winger. We complimented, was it the Belgian winger earlier, passing for the wraparound? And Ireland taking a leaf out of their book. And yeah, it's a skill that can go underutilised as wingers, keeping your eyes up when you receive that ball, who's running around you, and Finnan, the grateful recipient of the little pass back inside.
China going close there. Unfortunately, just the angle of the dive meant the ball was up in the air in the right hand while the left hand went down. But getting close, China. There they go again. Nothing doing there though. 6th touch comes in and Ireland will have possession again.
I think a China player is hurt and will sub off. Yeah, a good spot there from the referee. We love that. It looks like he's hurting a little bit.
Well, I think it was as he dived for the line a couple of moments ago, he landed awkwardly on that left-hand side, and hopefully it's just a bit of an impact injury, but we'll keep an eye on that one as Ireland look to threaten this defence again. Dunn has it. Oscar Dunn. And John Finnan. There's a bit of space here if they can get the pass out. Oh, it's a beautiful pass.
Oh, good touch.
As the touch come in, touch has just been made, but it was a lovely pass from Ireland's Emmett David O'Byrne.
Yeah, superb pass, and they disguised the sweeper play really nice. So they actually used John Finnan as the ball handler rather than the strike player, and I think China just fixated on him a little bit too much, and it allowed all of the space. And I've got to say, whilst we've got a little bit of a break in play, China are much improved in terms of getting the ball from A to B. I think they could just thread together some, sequential attacks and really start to stretch the Ireland defence, then they'll find so much more success in this game, because getting the ball from A to B in their first game proved to be a little bit difficult. They were just running too laterally, and at the moment they're running really hard and direct, making good yards every time they take a touch. it's just the finer margins in touch, and it does make all the difference. And teams who get a really clean roll ball and the ball off the floor really fast do often benefit in both attack and their transition.
Ireland in a good attacking situation once again, as Philip Finnan just feeds it in to Alex Connor. Touch was just made. In fact, no, touch wasn't just made. Referee was just explaining to China why he was giving the try, and Philip Finnan with another hit. In fact, sorry, it wasn't Philip Finnan, it was Philip Finnan playing provider to Alex Connor. Alex Connor with the score. It's out to 9-0 now for Ireland. About a minute left until half-time. China would love to get on the scoreboard before that half-time break. They'll have a bit of a chance here, but the touch comes in.
And I think that last sequence of play really sums up China. They're able to get to the 7 and dump on the 7 very efficiently, actually. They run really hard and direct down the same channel each time, and they're able to make really good yards. But then when they get into the red zone, it just seems like they're lacking that one person who can set up the attacking play and organize the attacking line, and then go and execute what the game plan is. And then you've got Ireland, who have these two brothers who can just tear people to shreds. They're so fast, so direct, and you can't help but think one or two more experienced players in this Chinese side, and they start taking these scores that they're leaving out there.
Yeah, because I mean, for my money, it looks as though sometimes just running out of ideas as they get into that try-scoring zone, and then they're finding themselves just diving at the try line. And it's not really quite on, but just as a sort of, we might get lucky and score off that, rather than constructing a play where they actually engineer the space.
Yeah, and if you think back to yesterday, their score yesterday came from running down, congesting the defence, really bringing it all tight and compact, and then throwing pass to the pace man, who just is able to go around the outside. And we've just not seen much of that extra pass when they're in attack, and that's what I would like to see, especially progressing throughout the rest of this tournament and indeed the rest of this game. It's just using that extra pass when they're in the line, because when they're in the midfield, they're happy to throw it and it works, but then when they get to the red zone, it's like white line fever. Everyone just wants to dive at the line, dive at the line, dive at the line, when in actual fact that's probably stopping your momentum, and then you've got to pull back, reset. And if you're trying the same things over and over again, a team like Ireland will just condense and defend it.
They will indeed, and they've been condensing and defending it very, very efficiently all throughout that opening half. We head into the half-time break as Ireland receive a bit of strapping to one of their players there and have their huddle right in front of that Irish flag. What a good place for that. They lead 9-0 at the break. We'll be back with you for the second half in just a moment's time. Players are on the field, ready to get going. The rain has just opened. Let's hope it stays away from Old Trafford for now, hey? We've just been following what's been happening over there during the half-time break. Ireland enjoying life in the rain, though. 9-0 up here at half-time against China in this mixed under-15s game. And by the look of it, John Finnan is absolutely itching to get going. Yeah. He's practically bouncing out there on the halfway line.
Well, I think he wants to pick up where he left off, because the first half performance was convincing enough, and looks like an Ireland team that just wants to put the icing on the cake, and they do it almost immediately.
Noah O'Neill with the score, and that is how you start the second half. Oh my word.
Yeah, pace, power, direction. That's all you need in touch. If you do the basics well, you get scores, and that's exactly what they do. They drive hard, they go straight, head down, lovely dump, and then both defenders just backtracking, and they part like the Red Sea, and it is easy pickings for Ireland.
Double figures then for Ireland. Almost no time gone whatsoever in this second half. An astonishing start from Ireland. An error from China. The errors will start to creep in because it is absolutely hammering down. It's not scheduled to last too long, but it is going to be a pretty tricky period of play while it lasts and while the ground dries out. We see another error there that's just a wet ball error as well.
Perfect diving weather, though.
Lovely diving weather. We should see a few. And I wonder if you're Ireland, what the focus is on. I'd be tempted, owing to my negative attitude towards how to play sports, I'd be aiming at going, actually, do you know what? I'm not too worried about what we do in the attacking sense in the second half. I want to keep this at 0.
Yeah, for sure. And, when you are comfortable in a game, you then want to get the basics perfect. You limit the drop balls, you limit the roll ball infringements, you limit how much possession that China has, and at the end of the day you keep the 0 on the scoreboard for China. That's exactly what you want. If I was Ireland, like you say, I wouldn't be too bothered about what happens when you're in attack, because as you've demonstrated, you can attack to a high level. It's now, can you get that 0? Wales weren't able to do it. I think Ireland in this situation will love to do it, and they'll get the occasional one to add to the tally.
Oh, John Finnan just coasting home from miles away. Just look at him strolling his way in. That strapping not holding him back one little bit. That's John Finnan. Makes it 11 for Ireland, and an error comes in, but as we said at the start of the half, we will see a couple of those as the weather closes in on us, and the temperature, which I thought couldn't drop any further, is dropping really low. I know we're banging on about it, but trust us, it's ridiculous. We're in July. What is going on?
I had the internal battle this morning. I was like, shorts, no shorts.
Well, I've gone shorts, and it's a regrettable choice, it has to be said. Yeah. A really regrettable choice. Where's that El Nino thing when you need it?
Maybe a loss of control, might get given a hard touch. Yeah, it gets given a hard touch. China just trying to be a little bit too intense in their defensive work. Ireland getting the penalty, and in this situation where you are comfortable in a game, what I wouldn't do is what's currently happening, which is just try and step everyone and not use your structures. This is a really good opportunity to practice your structures, to go through an entire attacking set, use all of your touches, and then hopefully get the score on the last one.
11-0, despite what that scoreboard at the end of the field says. That ball just goes out. But you don't mind Ireland going wide early in these scenarios and trying to put people into space. It's people trying to play on their own perhaps in these scenarios that you want to try and avoid, as Ireland almost get through there from Hogan. Hogan, who is having that right knee strapped at half-time, but certainly looks as though he's got plenty of athleticism still about him.
Yeah, definitely. I'd like to see Ireland use the touches a bit better here. Good quickie. Yep. Good defensive touch. We'd just like to see Ireland use their structure, work through their progressions. We've seen the quickie, the midfield quickie. And they go to the short side quickie. Ball goes. Wing makes a really good defensive play, gets up in the face and puts the pressure on and forces the ball to go to ground. And you know, Ireland probably be disappointed in the last 2 attacking sets that they've had. It's sort of just giving the ball away under no real pressure.
Yeah, and without any of their sort of key attacking trio of Finnan and Dunn on the field at the moment, and perhaps just losing a sense of whose role is what as they run through these plays.
Yeah, Ireland sort of lacking a little bit of direction now, trying to get the subs on.
As Dunn and Philip Finnan enter the fray. That is Dunn to Finnan. And the ball, I think accidentally, as the Chinese player just ran back to his line, I think his heel flicked up and caught the ball. Slightly unfortunate one, that one, really. Finnan and Dunn working together, but the ball just squirting loose as it made its way to Rangatawa.
Just a little bit of confusion here to restart the game. Just taking the time. Well done.
Trying to get towards their box. And then Sun gets on the ball. He's going to be important for them through this second half. Can he create a bit of magic?
Better.
They move well up to the 7, but they're out of touches. But that was good progression up the field, particularly given that they'd conceded quite an early touch there. To make it the full length of the field was a good effort.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, they took 3 touches to get to halfway. And, I mean, this is just, well, we've seen this too many times so far. Finnan goes through, puts the ball down, doesn't matter on the first name. It's a safe bet, both of them getting in. And it's just too easy for Ireland. They just drive up the box side. If you hit that ball at pace, you're going to find space.
Just goes around that outside, doesn't he? And defense at 6s and 7s with him, and I don't think he ever had to break into anything other than a mild trot there.
Yeah, just jogging over, nice and relaxed. And you know, it's just the benefit you get when you run things with purpose. You find the gaps, and Ireland have been able to do that all too easily in this game.
We spoke about this yesterday, though, in their game against Wales. It's it's another tough outing for China, but yeah, particularly as Mark was saying last night, actually from the Federation of International Touch, they've come all the way from China. This is about experience for these young people as much as it is anything else. Yes, there is action on the field, and yes, it might not be going how they want, but they're coming over for the experience of a lifetime. They're going to learn a huge amount about the game of touch alongside it, but they're also gaining just a life experience that so few people get the opportunity to have, to be part of an international tournament thousands of miles away from home. It's a special thing to be a part of.
Yeah, and this is what we were saying yesterday, this is just a festival for touch. It's just celebrating touch all across the world. And you know, China traveling so far to come and put a really good, honest showing in. And you know, let's not forget the scoreline might, you know, flatter Ireland, but China have come close a lot of, you know, on a lot of occasions. It's just the little 1%ers that they could improve, and if they were to do that and then, you know, come back in a few years' time having worked on some, you know, attacking composure, I think is the big one, they'll be a really, really, really good side. It's just, I think the experience that the other nations have is just proving too much at the moment.
Well, yeah, if you look at them from an attacking perspective, they're achieving the sort of first goal of attack, which is to get yourself in position to strike. They just perhaps haven't yet developed those strike plays and those strike structures to be able to capitalize on where they are, but you can learn that for sure. If you can get yourself into position, that's half the battle.
Yeah, 100%. And one of the key things in touch is completing your sets of 6, not surrendering the ball needlessly on touches 2 and 3. And, you know, trying to do that more often than not. So if you talk about the basics and, you know, what is absolutely needed to be a touch team, China have got it, that they can complete their sets, they can drive, they get from A to B very effectively. I think it's just like the final 25% of their game, and once that is developed, you know, these guys are going to be really solid. And you know, a couple of guys that we've seen have really good feet, really good hands. It's just having the composure and game sense to use them in the right areas.
And if you look at it, you know, the other end of the game, the defensive aspect, yes, they're conceding, but actually quite a lot of these tries have been, you know, long range ones out wide in channels where actually, I mean, just to casually observe on the field, you can see there's an athleticism difference between some of those wide players for Ireland and the wide players for China, and that's just a quirk of the age group, where some people are more physically developed than others at that age. And so if you're conceding tries where just a physical difference is the problem, well, actually you can probably chalk away half the scores just to that mere fact.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, you see it so often in age groups. You get people really small and slight stature at under 15s, and you see them 3 years later at under 18s. They're 6'2" and broad as anything. And it is just that physical development. And you know, Ireland seem to be blessed with 4 or 5 really physical players, very fast on their feet, very big, and I think that's just one of the main differences. I mean, you saw it in the game prior with O'Callaghan for Wales. I mean, he doesn't look like an under-18s player. He could be a Fiji Sevens player and you wouldn't bat an eyelid at it. And you do get those mismatches, and Ireland have just been blessed with more than China in this game.
They have indeed. They've stretched the lead out to 13 now. And China, again, getting themselves into that position of being able to have a strike, just not quite being able to finish it off. But as we say, they'll be pleased that they're able to get themselves there, and it allows them to focus on what the work on is. As Ireland and Finn just dancing, skipping away. Oh, that's magical. Magical at any level.
Oh, he's in touch. Oh, no.
Oh, let it go. Let it go. Those dancing feet.
Refs killing the joy of Finning. Oh, I thought he'd done everyone in a phone booth there, but just steps out in touch. China will get the roll ball. And if we talk about the positives for China, I mean, the glaring one's the scoreboard. You know, at this stage of the game, conceding fewer tries than they had last night. So, and you know, market improvements in terms of getting the ball from A to B. And Ireland, you know, don't get me wrong, Ireland have not been able to walk over all of these scores. A lot of them have had to come from hard work. And if you're doing that to a team and they're scoring through really hard work, you can sort of give yourselves a pat on the back.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we look at that first half, we went in at the first half, half time, Ireland leading 9 scores to nothing. Well, in the next 14 minutes, China have only conceded 4. About 6.5 minutes left to go.
Yeah, and I think a fair few of them have just come from mismatches on the wings as well, getting around the outside. So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, in this half especially, China can give themselves a pat on the back.
Certainly can. You can see just on the far side of the field there a slight gathering underneath the gazebo, which just tells you the extent to which the weather is closed in. No one lining the fields quite as they were in the earlier games.
Although I've got a feeling if this was France, the stands would be packed and they'd all be chanting and waving with the horns.
Well, not least because it's 42 degrees in France currently and bright sunshine. But the UK has plenty of other things to offer.
Fish and chips.
We might not bring the weather. But we're certainly bringing the atmosphere.
Yeah, we do our best. We do our best. China just slow to get to the middle. I think this is just a bit of fatigue creeping in. Like you say, I think I'm right in saying had the furthest to travel out of anyone here. They've come here to show that they can play, and in every game that they've played so far, there has been real moments to shine, and I just hope that they can get their well-deserved score in this game, as they did in the Welsh game, because that score was met with almighty applause.
China diving for the line, touch comes in. Thought just for a second you'd opened the door for them.
I'd really hope that'd be one that'd be getting clipped up, put on the Instagram, predicting scores before they happen. We love it. And again, it's just, China in that attacking set, maybe just run that play one person too far in. If they'd run it one out, there was space there. And this is the thing, they work really hard to create space. They do create space. And then Ireland are just able to close that gap at the very last second, just before China are able to go through.
Ireland move the ball out to the left-hand side, but greasy ball just slips from the grasp over there on the far side. 4 minutes left to go, Ireland leading 14-0 at present. And sending a flyer up in the form of Noah O'Neill to go and make the touch. Done this time. And they've done well there. That's 3 touches in no time at all, and forcing the error from China. That's impressive though, keeping that defensive intensity going as Ireland then just spill it in the slippy conditions. But keeping that defensive intensity going when you're 14-0 up, there's 3.5 minutes left to go.
Yeah.
A lot of teams would just sort of passively sit on that defence, but Ireland still maintaining that discipline to send a flyer up.
Yeah, definitely, and that takes a lot of mental toughness as well to stay on task, especially when you are so comfortable in a game. And I mean, we often forget the ages of these kids. They are kids. This is under 15s, and to have that maturity as an under 15 to recognise, look, we've still got to be on task. We've still got to work hard. We don't want to concede a try. I mean, it's a testament to the people on the pitch, but also it's a testament to the coaches of constantly reminding them, look, we've got a job to do. Let's finish strong. We want that 0. We want the shutout. I mean, a shutout in touch happens very rarely, so when you get it, that is something to be celebrated. And at the moment, just under 3 minutes to go, I think they will get the shutout.
I'll tell you what, you make a good point there, saying these are under 15s, these are kids. We've got to remember that. And as Ireland carve another opportunity, this time for Rory McCall. And I have to say, I spend my life commentating on youth sports of every variety, and I have to say it's been very hard in this instance, and I'm usually hyper aware of it. But it's been very hard to remember that these are just under 15s. And that's a testament to what the players are doing out in the field across all the games in this under 15s age group. The skill sets and the play have been such that you don't think you're watching 14, 15-year-olds. You feel like you're watching something much more advanced than that. And that's a huge, huge nod of respect to all the players out there.
100%, and I think it's a testament. China might go in for the score. I think they've got the ball down, and they do. They will get their score. 90 seconds remain on the clock, and they get the score.
Zhao Yangyin with the score. He's gone close a couple of times. He hurt himself diving for the line earlier, and he got a touch of the ball 3 times in this build-up play. Went for the dive. Almost had his feet go out underneath him as he went for it. And China get on the scoreboard with 1.5 minutes left to go.
Yeah. And you know what? That is a much improved attacking set because they ran with purpose, sucked in the defender, and then gave the extra pass. So these little tweaks that we've been suggesting, that I'm sure the coaches will be trying to implement, are starting to happen for China. And, the score difference compared to the game last night is a massive, massive change. And I think the China coaches will be relatively happy with that.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. And with under 1 minute left to go, there's an opportunity here for China just to see this one out without conceding again. Work through their touches, work their subs on. In fact, they're going to hit with some pace because They had half an opening there for Yin, the try scorer.
Much better pace in their transition, really making the yards, and 30 seconds remain. It's just a shame that the ball goes to ground there, but yeah, it seems like when things go right for China, they do go they make loads of yards, they put defenses under pressure. It's just not quite happened consistently enough. And
Finnan, almost in anger at having conceded, decides to show us the full array of his skills. Oh,
he's got a lovely goose step, he does.
So light on his feet as the hooter comes in. The touch will surely come in as well, unless Finnan can do some more wizardry, and of course he can. Of course he can. Philip Finnan setting up Annie Fitzsimmons for the final score, the final touch, the final play of the game, and that is full time. And a strong, strong victory for Ireland. A terrific performance from them against the China side that, fair play, full credit to them, stuck to task through the game, scoring that late try to avoid the shutout, and it finishes up Ireland 16, China 1.
Yeah, it's really, really well stuck at it for China. They get their reward in the end with the score with 90 seconds to go. Ireland just physically looked faster, more focused, more organised, and yeah, I think especially because of the performance that we saw from Ireland last night, not getting the result against what was a very, very, very good France side. This will be a really good confidence booster for them. Just reminding them that they can go through their processes, they've got good structures, and they are fast and direct when needed to be. It sits them in a good position for the rest of the weekend.
Certainly does. All finishes up here. Ireland 16, China 1. Stay with us, because in 10 minutes time we switch to the men's under-20s and the USA against France. That should be an absolute rip-roarer of a game.